We don't get to do shit like this. Nobody gets to talk to each other anymore. Not that this is that intimate in a state fair armpit, whatever lot this is. But like, I live in a very liberal place. This farm seems like what it is. And I have to be honest, this idea, I'm a very middle of the road kind of person, and we're not going to talk about politics because I don't care who you vote for. I do, but I don't care what you are. I care that you're in my audience. And I bet if we talk more, we'd all realize like, oh, we're all human and kind of want to be nice to other humans, right? For the most part. Mm-hmm. And no one does that. You can't talk about anything. Everything's offensive. And I think during all of this, people have gotten so much more offended. Everyone's dug in their heels to the point where we just attack our own allies. And all the conservatives are like, that's liberal shit. That ain't us. It is. For sure. It's all my granola snorting friends. The other day, I went for a run, a 15-minute run. This is nothing to brag about. But I posted it on my Instagram. And all I said was, 15-minute run. I felt really good. I'm always advocating for like moving your body. And I was like, 15-minute run will change the way you feel the rest of the day. That's all I said. I cannot think of a less polarizing thing. And this girl writes to me because women are forever policing other women. She writes to me, hey, I just want you to know that by writing that you went for a run, you're encouraging ableism, and there are people who can't run.
What the fuck?
I was like, well, hopefully you're one of the people that can kill yourself, because I don't know where you get... I wanted to write back, by texting this to me, you're shaming people without thumbs, and by using words, you're shaming people who can't read. Like, what is wrong with our country? You can't bring up anything. We have trouble talking to different generations. I get together with my grandparents. If you're lucky enough to have your grandparents, the only thing you can talk to your grandparents about is asking them what the secret to their marriage is. That's the best thing to ask. What's the secret to, and it's the same story every time. First of all, there's no secret. Your grandparents are 80, 90. The reason they're not divorced, they're Catholic. Or there was no one else in the village. Like, that's it. It's not some nuanced thing. Yeah, we're both alive, and that's about it. I need someone to take me to the store. It's not going to be a layered answer. Like, our generation's going to be like, well, my love language matched up with his specific brand of bullshit, and together, we're a mediocre couple. We're mediocre, too. You ask your grandpa. Tell us the story of you and grandma. You'll notice it's always the same story. Doesn't matter who you are. Your grandpa, it's always a story of rewarded persistence. Ask your grandpa, how did you know grandma was the one? The story always starts like, well, she didn't like me at first. And we're like, oh my God, tell me more. He's like, but I just knew if I kept on at her, eventually she'd fall asleep. I mean, eventually she'd say yes. And we love it. Women, for all of our marching and our Me Too and our Time's Up and our third wave feminism and our Ruth Bader Ginsburg fucking enamel pins and our Yes We Can, for all of that shit. The second we hear a man didn't take no for an answer, but they stayed together, we're like, oh my God, I fucking love it. I wish a man would do that to me. Tell me more. How did you white knight your way into her heart? Oh, grandpa. And nobody ever asks grandma for all of the Instagram posts about women. Listen to women's stories. Nobody ever asked grandma, why didn't you like grandpa? Nobody wants to know, and don't ask your Nana why she didn't like grandpa, because the truth will rock you, okay? It will fuck up your family Christmas. She's been waiting for you to ask her that. Ask her. She doesn't give a shit. She's like, I don't have much time left. You can go ahead and ask me. Come here. You want to know why I didn't like your grandpa? Come here, come close. I'll tell you. He was a fucking creep. That's right, it wasn't diagnosed back then. Oh, he was always looking at me, sniffing his fingers, licking his lips. Sometimes I'd walk by him, he wouldn't even say my name. He would just, as I shuffled by. He was always looking at me, staring at me. I'm pretty sure he killed my cat. This was a long time ago. This was before the internet. He was always leaving eggplants on my front doorstep. He told all the other boys I was a floozy because I like to show off my ankles. And I didn't want to be the only single girl in town without a family at 17. So I let him take me to the ice cream social. And I'll be honest, we started dating. And what started out as a healthy fear of him eventually grew into a crippling codependency. We didn't call it Stockholm Syndrome back then, but turns out that's what I suffer from. Anyways, we went to prom. 9 months later, your Uncle Charles was born. So people are always on board with that joke.